everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I want to talk about inflammation and the top 5 foods that actually cause inflammation in the body. So inflammation in the body is a good thing in small amounts or lower levels, but if you eat specific foods and have high stress all the time, you're going to end up with chronic inflammation, which leads to a load of health issues such as arthritis and blood clotting and all sorts of things. So I just want to share with you the 5 foods that you should be avoiding and the top 5 worst culprits. And before I do, I just want to say that omega-6 fats are usually the fats that are going to cause inflammation in the body, cause chronic inflammation. Your body needs omega-6 fats and omega-3 fats. But what it doesn't need is super high levels of omega-6 and lower levels of omega-3. Because what happens is when you have high levels of omega-6, it's higher in the series 2 prostaglandins, and when those get too high and get out of ratio to the series 1 and series 3, I don't want to get too much into biology, but when it gets when the ratio gets really off, then that's when the series 2, or which is an omega-6 fatty acids, will trigger chronic inflammation. The series 1 and series 3 prostaglandins they're actually anti-inflammatory, which is why you want higher levels of them, and you can get those from DGLA and EPA, which is from the omega-3 fatty acids. So you really want to just make sure you're getting higher levels of the series 1 and series 3, which are contained in omega-3 fatty acids, and you want to get some, but not a lot, of series 2, which is an omega-6. So usually, I'm gonna say, I always try in my own life to get my ratio of omega-6 to omega-3 to be 2 to 1 or 3 to 1. But in the American diet and in a lot of people's diets, omega-6 is usually very high. So the reason why it's really high is because people eat a lot of very unhealthy foods, and the #1 culprit is gonna be sugar. Sugar breaks down in the body really, really quick, and it causes inflammation in the body. And the second thing, which is very high in omega-6, is vegetable oil. So any chips or deep fried foods that you're gonna eat, any bars, chocolate bars, anything you get from the store is full of vegetable oils, whether it's canola or soy or corn or sunflower. Those are all very high in omega-6. So if a person who is eating those is not eating lots of fatty fish and cod liver oil and nuts and seeds, their ratio of omega-6 to omega-3 is going to be so out and out of whack. And the series 2, which is an omega-6, is what's going to be causing chronic inflammation. And because it's high levels of it, the series 1 and series 3, which are your omega-3s, are not going to be able to balance it out and kind of counteract those inflammatory responses. So getting your vegetable oils lowered is a really good thing, and what you want to increase in replace of all those bad oils and hydrogenated fats is more of coconut oil or avocado oil, olive oil. Those are really good options. Another thing too is that hydrogenated oils, even if you're not eating them in high amounts, I just stay away from them altogether, because in order for them to become shelf stable and not go rancid, when they're processed, they're highly processed. When they're processed, they actually have hydrogen gas that they allow to kind of bubble up into the oil, and that kind of creates little hydrogen pockets in the oil, and that keeps it from going rancid. So you're literally consuming hydrogen gas when you're consuming those hydrogenated oils. So if I were you, I'd stay away. But if you are to eat them, if you are gonna have your bag of Lay's chips, although there are options you can get with coconut oil or something, but if you want your Lay's chips or you want those fatty bad oils, just make sure that you're getting high amounts of omega-3s in your diet. So sugar is a bad culprit. Any type of vegetable oil is really bad. The next thing that I want to say is actually peanut butter. So peanut butter is one of those things that a lot of people will claim is healthy, and don't get me wrong, I am in love with peanut butter. It is my favorite nut butter in the entire world, and I used to eat it by the spoonfuls, and I love it. And I still eat it once in a while, but in moderation, because peanuts are very high in omega-6. They are also usually contain mold because they are grown under the ground and their shells are very, very thin. So not only are you going to be consuming mold if you're having peanuts, but you're also getting high levels of omega-6. So I'm not saying don't eat peanut butter. I'm just going to say make sure, first of all, it's organic, but second, that you're just consuming smaller amounts, and compared to your omega-3s, you're consuming a lot less, because peanuts definitely cause inflammation. There was a period of time when I had bad psoriasis, that if I had even a drop of peanut butter, my hands would flare up, because I was already super inflamed. That's why I had psoriasis, and then just adding that little bit of peanut butter just put me over the edge. So Peanut butter is your third culprit. The next thing is, where are we? The next thing is refined flour. So this might not have omega-6s in it per se, unless you're eating like a cake that's made with like bad oils and stuff. But just refined flour on its own breaks down into sugar very quickly in the body, and that also causes inflammation. So you remember sugar was our top culprit. So if you're eating a refined flour, and even if it's rice flour, if you're eating like white rice or any flour, it doesn't even have to contain gluten. If it's refined and white, it's gonna just, your body's gonna digest it super quick. It's gonna create a spike in your glycemic index, in your blood sugar levels, and then that's gonna create inflammation in the body because it breaks down into sugar really quick. So what a good way to substitute would be whole grains, so wild rice, or even if you're gonna have gluten, going for like a sprouted whole grain, wheat or something like that. Just the more complex carbs that you're gonna consume are gonna, I'm gonna sneeze in a second, the more complex carbs you're consuming are gonna break down slower in the body, won't be turned into sugar as quickly, and it won't be as inflammatory. So that's one thing. And then the fifth one is any type of artificial additives. So I'm not going to get into this, it might be for another video because this topic is huge, but if you see in certain products that there's like soy lecithins or maltodextrin or MSG or any type of like modified anything that you don't understand what it is, those are food additives, and they a lot of times, like calcium chloride is chlorine, or what else? There's just a lot of additives you'll see in food. Those are going to create inflammation in the body. So these chemicals that are going into our bodies, we don't have the enzymes to break them down. So your body kind of thinks that it's under attack, and it creates inflammation. And remember what I said in the beginning of the video, inflammation is good when you need it. So if you're sick, or if you cut yourself and you need to blood clot or something, that's when inflammation is good. That's when your body kicks in and says, we need to fight this. But when you're eating high amounts of these bad foods, your body's always in fight mode. You always have inflammation, which leads to chronic inflammation, and that's very stressful on the body. So when you're consuming these additives in food that are just chemicals, pure chemicals, your body doesn't know how to eliminate them, how to break them down. Well, knows how to eliminate them, doesn't know how to break them down. So it goes into fight mode, and that's what causes inflammation. So that's your fifth. So the biggest one is sugar. Then you've got your vegetable oils, which are not only highly refined with bad, chemicals and stuff in it, but they also are high in omega-6. And then we have our peanut butter, and then we have refined flour, and we have artificial additives. So those are the top. So if you're shopping for something, I always read the label, even if it says organic or non-GMO. Sometimes products will make a lot of claims on them that they are healthy, and if you read the ingredients, they'll be high in sugar, high in refined flours, lots of additives, and that's not good. So you want to stay away from that and go stick to more of like, if you're gonna eat nut butters, I say try and stick to more of the almond or walnuts or something that's like higher in omega-3s that won't cause inflammation as much. But if you want your peanut butter, have it. I'm not saying don't have it, because I personally do love it and I do have it here and there, but just really watch your intake. If you want to have chips, stay away from the ones that say like soy oil or sunflower oil or canola oil. Go for something that has coconut oil or olive oil, avocado oil. Those are good options, and there's loads of chips out there now that you can buy that are healthier. So there's just these little food swaps you can make. If you're gonna have sugar, go for more of honey or maple syrup. It's a little bit better for your body, but still keep those in moderation, because eating too much of those can still cause inflammation. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Just make sure that the foods you're getting are like not gucked in additives. And a good way to tell if a food is good or not is if the ingredient list is small. If it's small, it means there's minimal ingredients, and it's most likely going to be a lot healthier than something that has a list this long of ingredients. So just keep that in mind as well. But yeah, that was just a little video. I want to kind of give you some foods that are probably like not as good. You want to stay away from those. So I hope this video was informed you, I should say. I hope this video was informational, and that you learned something from it. So if you did, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe down below if you are new to my channel, and I will see you in my next one. Bye.